If you haven't seen the previous video in this series, follow the link on your screen or click the link in the description or pinned comment below.
What happened here was the 2 minutes of opening credits created a high-pressure system that simply couldn't be contained by the roof.
It's actually a reference to blowing the roof off this motherfucker, something black people used to say all the time. And you can't give me the "we're white" excuse either, because Jordan Belfort said it in The Wolf of Wall Street, and that's the whitest story ever told.
Blow the roof off this motherfucker!
This gratuitous high-top reveal only works when it's some kind of Chekhov's man bun. So what we have here is more of a red herring.
Sinning Kid's iconic flat top. That's worth these many sins.
And if you couldn't tell by now, yes, I am white. A fact that will be painful and obvious, not only during the sinning of this movie, but also during the post-sentence scene where I attempt to recreate some of the film's iconic dance moves. I apologize in advance.
Wait, future Bartman, is it happening? Is this the thing? I'm gonna go ahead and give you this in advance. The stone? Am I ready? I don't think I'm ready.
No. Wait. Wait.
We wouldn't dare play the music, but still want to point out that Kid is listening to the title track off Kid and Play's 1990 album Funhouse. And so the sin, as always, is listening to your own music while taking a shower.
Yeah, no, this is not Christopher Kid Reed. It's Christopher Kid Robinson, meaning he's not listening to his own music. I know that sounds pedantic, but CinemaSins is mixing realities here and conflating Doylist with Watsonian for the millionth time.
Also, showering like this.
What's the problem with the way he's showering? What the hell is this Sins video? Matter of fact, I've been meaning to ask, what's up with the Sins videos these days? They're getting lamer and lamer, almost like you're trying not to be offensive, but in doing so, you're giving us pointless guff like this. I'm going to tell you like I tell people in the comment section. Not every thought you have needs to be shared.
Chris, finish your breakfast, boy!
This asshole attempts to leave pancakes, eggs, hash browns, and bacon on the table and just take a piece of toast. As far as I'm concerned, this movie is not so much a coming-of-age comedy as it is an anti-hero origin story.
I think you've touched on something the film doesn't necessarily address, and the later films don't either. Kid is incredibly selfish. Throughout the entire film, he is kind of an asshole, and this breakfast proves that point. His father is clearly struggling to pay the bills after his wife died, stays up late working and begging for overtime, and still made time to make this spread, and he only takes the toast, wasting everything else. This is incredibly unrealistic in black households because there isn't a universe where a poor black family is wasting this amount of food. I'll take a sin off, even if you didn't really think of all that.
And I'm gonna be hooking you up with, man. This ain't no tackhead party. Deaf women like those.
For a moment, I thought Play was being ableist, but then I looked at the subtitles and realized my whiteness had crept up on me again. Even though no amount of wokeness can help with that, I figured I just might be able to distract you by pointing out how the male gaze just kicked in with full force before full force could enter the movie with medium force. Please don't cancel me.
Oh my fucking god, nobody is that white they don't understand what deaf means in 2023. Outside of Ben Shapiro. That slang is over 30 years old. That's like saying you don't know what cool means. But what really grinds my gears is the usage of the word woke. That is not what woke means. Just like simp, y'all have distorted the meaning of that word and made it incredibly corny. Here, let the guy that edits these videos explain it to you.
The word woke, I'm gonna explain it for you, Andrew, because like a lot of people, and I know I have like a large white audience, but my black audience knows what the word woke actually means. The word woke means your third eye is open. What do I mean by that? It's like you're aware of what's going on. You're aware that, you know, the government might be fucking you in some way. That's what woke means. It's a corruption of the word awake. Like, I'm awake, get it? Like, I see what's going on. That's what woke actually means. It's the same thing with like the word simp, and like you guys just take it and then it turns into something completely different than how you stole it from. Like, that's what the word woke is.
Hey, don't play.
This school cafeteria hot dog has some sort of gravitational pull on the same person that couldn't be bothered to eat the full breakfast that was laid out for him earlier. And yes, I'm still stuck on that.
Well, it makes sense, doesn't it? He skipped breakfast.
Stab, I'm really sorry.
Having a character named Stab drink milk from a tiny carton, or just drink milk in general.
How do you think Stab got so yoked? Milk has a hell of a lot of protein. And I know we're currently living in a world where you Seattleites have convinced everyone that oat milk is the goat milk, but this is a time period before Starbucks and Uggs were ubiquitous.
Also, this guy's supposed to be a high school student. House Party clearly attended the Grease Academy for casting actors as high school students.
I'm willing to shoot early 90s movies some bail for this practice. When I was a kid, this is exactly what high school students looked like. When I got to high school in the early 2000s, we looked like little kids. Probably because of all the oat milk, but still, look at what high school students in the 90s actually looked like.
Where you planning to be in 10 years, man?
10 years from now, I'm gonna be in one of your movies.
Alright. You gonna be pimping?
Pimping it.
Represent.
Little Brandon leads too.
Years, you know where I'll be in 10 years?
Hope.
I am not going to be a host.
Little did she know.
Kid was on his way to get milk for Full Force, but then Full Force somehow got to the milk place before Kid. And even with the slight delay to talk to Sydney and Shireen, we have to assume he was taking the shortest route. You know what? Instead of trying to further explain how this doesn't make sense and just seems like they're all cramming a full day of bullying into one lunch period, I'm just giving the scene a sin for almost turning this into one of those I should care about two trains headed somewhere math problems.
CinemaSins half manipulates nearly an entire minute of screen time where the film shows Kid interacting with Bilal and later Sydney and Shireen before bumping into Stab, Zilla, and Pee-wee. They got there before him because he was taking too long.
Yo, I will break my leg off, up in your ass so far that you be shitting sneaker for a month.
Sure, I get it now, but I can tell you from experience that threatening to break your own leg off inside a person will confound a 15-year-old from the suburbs who, upon viewing White Men Can't Jump, ambitiously thought that his jumper was capable of earning him any kind of respect on the local courts. So the sin, as always, is my J.
Alright, I laughed, but only because this was hilariously corny. I'll preface this with I completely understand Jeremy is saying lingo like this might confuse people that aren't a part of this culture. Listen, man, some things just ain't for everyone, and I'm entirely certain House Party wasn't marketed to kids in the suburbs, black or white. You can't sin a film because it has cultural norms that you don't understand. In fact, I'd argue that you should take this opportunity to try learning those cultural norms, or if you're not interested, simply ignore them. I mean, you wouldn't sin a Chinese film for their colloquialisms. Hell, in my last video, you got upset that the film didn't distinguish between Mandarin and Cantonese in the subtitles, demonstrating you do care about the intricacies of that culture. I wonder why you don't do that here.
Yo, watch out, man, watch it!
Come on, movie. They were 2 feet in front of him at most. My suspension of disbelief is going to need you to either move them further away or move Reagan closer.
So your point is that it's impossible for someone to completely miss something point blank? Have you seen Russell Westbrook trying to make a layup?
Russell Westbrook, the opening play here, comes up with a nice theft on Raymond Felton, and I don't know if he lost the basketball going up or not, but he tries to finger roll it.
Kid will try to throw a punch here instead of delivering the obvious comeback of he who smelt it dealt it. Okay, maybe it's not the obvious comeback, but I've never heard it used in that way. And I'm pretty sure the sheer weight of confusion it would create in the lunchroom would have diffused the situation.
Yeah, you definitely from the suburbs. Thinking you can talk bullies out of whipping your ass in front of the entire lunchroom is some Stephen King type shit.
Could you tell me why in God's name you called his mother a garden tool?
I'm not gonna lie, this got me to chuckle. But also, I'm not buying that a high school principal in 1990 did not understand the derogatory meaning that the word hoe could imply.
Bro, you just said that you didn't understand what deaf or breaking my leg off in your ass meant, and you were a white teen in the 90s when these phrases were at their peak. So you mean to tell me you don't get an even older white person not understanding what hoe means? Now that breaks my suspension of disbelief.
Holy f***ing hell, that's stalker levels of pictures of scantily clad women on Bilal's wall. I'm assuming in House Party 2 we discover the next step in his evolution to a full-blown serial killer.
Those are the Jet Beauties of the Week, which is why there's so many. For all you Zoomers, this was our version of OnlyFans. They're basically meant to be on the wall and not stuck together like mine.
There's a party tonight at Peter's house. Can I go?
On a school night?
School night parties, especially the ones I wasn't invited to.
Damn, that's dark. But the real sin here is this film says this party happens on a school night, but later dialogue makes it seem like it's on a Saturday, which wouldn't make sense because of the earlier scene at school.
Play, the kid who seems like he throws tons of parties, is making a rookie move by vacuuming beforehand. Sure, he is super smooth, always keeps it 100, and all the things kids say these days, but this still feels like more of a play that Kid would make.
Completely disagree. Play in everything we see him in, and I'm including class act, is incredibly neat. I suggest he's far more well put together than Kid, who doesn't really put much effort into his appearance. That would obviously translate into keeping his home clean. Besides, who the hell invites people over to a dirty house? Who raised you?
Hey, Who are these niggas? We need to stay away from these niggas. You know what I mean?
Toe to toe, Kid and Play's on a roll again. It's only right that we keep the crowd dancing.
I get that Kid's dream is to become a hip-hop artist, and you can't always predict when the creative juices will start flowing, but he's trying to get the out of the house before Pop finds out about the fight at school, so why does he think he has time for this?
Jeremy, what are you talking about? Kid was doing his homework and finished it like his father told him he'd have to attend the party. This is after that homework and after he checked the mail verifying the school's message hadn't arrived yet. He isn't yet on a time crunch. The only reason you are saying this is because as the audience member who has already seen this movie, you know what is coming. Kid doesn't have that knowledge yet.
Let him with this plastic.
Player replaces his mother's nice stemware with plastic cups. A smart move that I wish I had learned a couple decades sooner. However, he puts them in the still very breakable china cabinet.
Well, what the hell do you expect him to do? Move the china cabinet? If you know anything about china cabinets, you'd know you ain't moving them shits on short notice.
He called Mom out a name.
Well, don't you think it's been long enough?
Telling your kid how much to grieve over a parent's death.
First of all, there are clearly limits. I mean, you can't use your parents' death as an excuse 30 years after it happened, right? Obviously, that would be egregious, meaning there is a point in time where you can criticize someone using that as an excuse for getting into trouble. But more importantly, I just gave away why Robin said that. Kid uses this as an excuse to get out of trouble. He's not telling him how much to grieve. He's saying take responsibility for your own actions.
Well, don't you think it's been long enough? I am sick and tired of you using your mother for an excuse every time you get in trouble. I don't give a damn if Marvin Gaye gonna be there. You won't!
I understand needing to discipline your child, but making one measly school fight out to be worth your kid missing a golden opportunity to mingle with the man that sang the ultimate song seems like a little much. We all need priorities, but if Marvin Gaye comes to the door, you answer it.
I don't know about all that. I mean, even back in 1990, Marvin Gaye was dead. You're saying open the door for a zombie.
Who's that in the car, Play? Oh, that's a honey.
Excuse me, that is Kelly Jo Minter in that car, and he will treat 80s, 90s young adult movie royalty with the respect it deserves.
He did. He called her a honey. That's better than hoe, right? Besides, she ain't Nia Long.
My mom ain't no bitch.
If I'm a bitch, your mama's a bitch.
This particularly sinful use of the symmetric property of equality.
You just went on a whole fucking soliloquy about this chick only to nullify her point that she isn't a bitch. Congratulations.
Movie plays this like it's just high school hijinks, but they just tried to murder him. Twice.
Yeah, Stab is a murderous piece of shit that literally tries to burn down a house full of people later. You're not telling me anything I didn't already know. Besides, the real sin here is Stab's beat-up-ass Jordans. I mean, it's 1990 and those came out in 89. Why do they look like they stormed Normandy?
Here's another dusty one for you dusties.
I don't even feel good about saying this, but PCU has a better George Clinton plays a house party scene than House Party.
Good Burger has a better George Clinton plays a house party scene than both of them.
They need discipline, not solitary confinement.
That's true.
To think this statement is now over 30 years old, and in all that time, this country has yet to properly deal with the over-policing and incarceration of young black men. So for the writers who included this relevant social commentary that is unfortunately still relevant, I'm going to have to remove a sin. But also, the writers will later on have full force try to burn down a house with people in it, making it super hard to sell the idea that Stab and company just need discipline. No, you had it right before. We're adding one. What the hell? Okay, I get it. It's usually all fun and games here, but on occasion we should acknowledge that the films we love to love hate do live in and are influenced by the world just like we are, and certain messages are more important than the sin count, so the removal stand and we can get back to the party.
Good job. I was about to criticize you for immediately undermining your point. The point of the scene was that, from the perspective of the cops and patrons, they hadn't done anything worth locking them up for. Now, we know Stab probably should be under the jail for trying to kill a house full of innocent people through arson, but Zilla and Pee-wee shouldn't, yet they'd have been punished just as harshly, which is entirely the problem, and something the film was attempting to point out, albeit a little clumsily. Black people are all criminals, even if they're not. Here's a sin removal.
Pay $15,000 for this house.
Imagine being able to buy a house for $15K. So the sin, as always, is inflation.
No, that's actually not inflation. It's just a bullshit line from a guy that was literally ad-libbing. First of all, $15,000 in 1990 is only $33,000 today. And second, in an interview with Vlad TV, Kid told Vlad that comedians Robin Harris and John Witherspoon improvised most of their lines. In 1990, the median house price in California was just about $200,000. There is no universe in which he purchased that house in Los Angeles for $15K, and it's far more likely that John was referring to a down payment or a number he thought sounded big.
I'm getting those digits.
I too have confidenced myself into a British accent while on my way to get those digits, and the resulting drink that was thrown in my face is all the evidence I need to know that this will always be a sin.
I agree. You trying to clown anyone for their British accent is always a sin. We know what you sound like, and for those that don't, watch my Minions video.
I be alone with a woman sometimes, and I'm damn near about ready to wax that ass, and all I can do is vision this fool, man. Word?
Wouldn't be a 90s comedy without a little repressed homophobic humor added in.
You're taking the progressivism too far. The joke wasn't homophobic. If you'd let the rest of the scene play, Zilla and Pee-wee make it clear that they wouldn't be focused on another man while having sex.
But I know when it comes to my dick action, all I can think about is the pussy, you know what I'm saying? He must have a mental block or something.
Nothing about that is homophobic, and it's something I'd agree with them on. The hell you thinking about your nemesis for when you're in bed? Why do you have enough blood in your brain to think?
Also, why is Stab so obsessed with Kid? The movie makes it seem that their first scrap was earlier today, and all that happened was Stab got some of his milk spilled on him.
Then you're clearly missing the characterization. This is the movie, right now, telling the audience that Stab and Kid always get into confrontations. That's why Kid reacted the way he did when he bumped into Stab earlier at school. It'll never not be funny that you always ask movies for info, but lose your mind when they give it.
Come on, girl, put some use to them coins on your feet.
Bilal believes this comment will entice Sydney to want to dance with him.
To be fair, Bilal is comically unaware. Multiple people have implied or outright told him his breath is on dragon mode, but apparently he doesn't realize it. I'm just saying, if you don't brush your teeth, you're probably not good with women.
All right, this dance battle scene is iconic. But it's also the reason that my younger self believed every dance was a dance battle, a view not shared by several clubs throughout the tri-state area, which I am still forbidden to patronize.
Jeremy sends something he likes cliche.
Yo, Bilal! Switch again!
Dickish Kid is dickish for no reason, but also the movie feels like it's missing a scene that would explain why he's so against dancing with this one random girl. I feel like this is the same one from earlier that caught him looking at Shireen, but even if that's the case, that doesn't explain why he's this eager to move on to dancing with someone else.
All right, you've admitted you've already seen this movie, so you know Kid is trying to woo Shireen. You even admit you recognize the earlier scene where he's eyeballing her like an airport cop. It should be obvious why he wants to switch. I mean, bruh, have you seen Shireen? I'd be up in that house with a dashiki, an afro, and some barbecue. If you know, you know.
Without this movie, we don't get Bad Boys 2.
The disrespect. Bad Boys 2 is another classic. Rotten Tomatoes be damned.
You don't know you f***ing with. I'm from a small town called Fresh Off a Cop's Ass. You're making me homesick.
Robin Harris steals every scene he's in and makes it look easy as hell in the process. He left this world way too early. It's a shame we didn't get 40 more great performances after this one.
Agreed. He'll probably be best remembered for Bebe's Kids, but his lines in this movie are iconic. And I remind you, they were all ad-libbed.
Always and forever.
Without this movie, we don't get Big Mama's House 2.
What's with the random hate on Martin? He's literally the biggest star in this entire film and went on to have the greatest career. Without this movie, we don't get Martin, the show. And I know damn well you ain't sinning that.
The roof! The roof!
The fact that Play is singing The Roof is on Fire with zero knowledge of Stab's plans to burn his house down is some serious irony. And I'm not just talking about the Alanis Morissette kind of irony.
Which is the point of the scene. You think pointing out what filmmakers were going for is a sin. And that's hilarious.
Yo, who got a light? How about a Bud Light?
Either a very strange product placement or the worst punchline ever told. Either works for me. The police arrest full force and just f*** off without even inquiring about the party obviously going on inside the house. Sure, attempted arson is more serious than a party, but the movie has established that these two are not really that concerned with public safety.
Jeremy, arson is a felony. Attempted murder is a felony. I'm sorry, but you cannot convince me that a party, which is a please keep it down at best, would take any kind of priority over catching potential arsonists red-handed. The movie has not established that they don't care about public safety. You just made that up.
Give me that mic. Oh, you want some of this?
House Party rips off the rap battles from 8 Mile.
This is an obvious chronology joke, but I'm still sending it anyway. Don't ever disrespect House Party by bringing up 8 Mile. That movie is okay, but this one is better by 8 miles.
Is it gonna be me or Eraserhead?
This is the second Eraserhead reference, and as the rules state, each film is only allowed one.
I would have pointed out that it's weird for people wearing 3-inch flat tops to criticize someone with a 6-inch flat top. It's like we have the same hairstyle, only your eraser has been used.
Oh, yeah? Anything y'all could do, I also could do, but I could also do it better.
Why does Martin Lawrence look as confused about the delivery of that line as I am after hearing it?
Because this is a comedy film. Martin Lawrence.
Come back to bed, Harry. Harry?
Infidelity.
That fucking laugh.
Why you gotta play the alky role at my party?
Why are you not asking if this guy's still alive?
Probably because he's still moving?
You gotta take things slow at first.
Nudging side boob with your arm isn't taking things slow. My college girlfriend gave me all the wrong tips.
Considering how up in arms you get about potential gay jokes, I'm sure she gave you the right tip.
Well, after Mr. Williamson went crazy and started sniping people from the roof, most guys just drop me up in the corner and tell me to call them when they get home.
Just because kids' steadfast pursuit of sexy time is in line with the results expected from the irrational cost-benefit analysis going on in a teenage brain doesn't make this any less of a power of boner sin.
Considering the context is Shireen is a girl from the projects and the movie clearly shows kids' nervous laugh, I'm going to say that joke went over your head. Also, Jeremy says boner.
I'll tell you what's not right. The way you keep fronting on me. That ain't right.
Kid is giving shit to Sydney because she wants to take things slowly while he really wants to smash her subscribe button. It seems all cool because they do hash things out and come to an understanding, but it also seems uncool because every line Kid delivers feels and sounds like a lie. Even...
You see, my mother's dead.
Don't hate me, I'm just the messenger on this one.
Huh? I'm not even sure what any of that has to do with this scene. Our contemporaries would point out that the scene shows Sydney withdrawing consent, while the actual film is saying Sydney is afraid because she thinks Kid prefers Shireen. Both of those would have been worthy topics to discuss, but you went the dummy route.
Now that we're friends, let's get with the loving.
Even with all the terrible pickup lines we have heard throughout the runtime of this movie, I feel like it's definitely a sin that this is the best one.
How much experience do you have with women? Serious question. Watch the film, bro. Sydney is practically head over heels for Kid, meaning almost anything he says will garner this type of reaction. I've had women that like me so much, I could sit in silence and they'd be convinced I was spitting game.
I guess it's been in here a little too long.
Yep, keeping condoms in your wallet makes them not work good. So don't do that. As always, you'll get kids, or a host of other bad shit.
So, are you agreeing with the movie, or...
The story suddenly grants this opossum the same you shall not pass powers as Gandalf.
Sitting this scene. It's fucking hilarious. Also, Jeremy makes a pop culture...
Freeze! This well-dressed cameo of the director and his brother doing a bizarre crime is severely unexplained.
Yeah, you definitely from the suburbs.
That's why you can't be on CPT. I need you on Japanese people time.
Stereotyping people as punctual is still stereotyping.
It's so bizarre. You cape for other people but miss the black stereotype. You know what CPT stands for? Even if you don't, it's clearly the opposite of the other stereotype. Besides, I've been to Japan. They are extremely punctual. Hell, I've had girls break up with me because I wasn't on time for a date. Shit real.
After we go get Kid, we all gonna shoot over to Burger King.
Burger King?
This has got to be the first ever instance of lady boners and Burger King combining their powers to resolve a storyline. I'm not even mad. Hell, I don't even disagree. And believe it or not, my agreeing with things is usually a sin.
I know. I always point it out. Also, boners.
Getting this excited when your friend is making out with someone.
It's called being a virgin. Don't you know all about this? Oh my fucking God. Yep, there it is. The trigger. Mine was for house party too though, so our timelines are a little different. Dude, that was insanely cringe. You're telling me. Mine was longer. Anyway, I guess this is goodbye. Wait, what? Why? Well, you no longer need me. You are Future Birdman now. Which I maintain is a stupid-ass name because it's incorrect, but yeah, I already knew this was coming. We can't exist as the same being in the same dimension. But you have the stone. You know what to do. You got the juice now. Well, f***. Wait, if I'm Future Birdman now, why the heck can't I curse? 'Cause I'm the goat, bitch. Now, how the hell do you work this thing? Oh, what the fuck?
These lazy-ass birds are lazy.
That strangely sounds like my comment section.
My
Anyway,
ears are ringing.
fairly accurate
Oh,
representation
God.
of birds in Africa. There
What
are
the
tons
hell?
of examples of birds just hitching a ride on larger
Is that-
animals, so I'm just counting.
Is that me?